How's it going, Rogues Gallery? Today we are talking all about Weiss Schwarz and why I believe it to be the absolutely perfect side or second or budget trading card game for basically anyone out there. This is actually something that I've thought about for quite a while and has only been amplified ever since I've started to actually really dive into Weiss Schwarz and start building decks of my own. This was actually all inspired by the recently released Nikkei set, of which I have the starter deck here. I want to give a shout out to Bushiroad for actually sending me the starter deck and the box to check out, but they're not sponsoring this video at all or whatever. They probably wouldn't like the fact that I'm calling it a side game or a second TCG, and we'll talk about that in just a second. I mean it in the best possible way, but yeah, I've been really enjoying the Nikkei starter deck. I think it's actually just fantastic, and actually it looks awesome. It helps that I pulled a beautiful chase card, but I think this is actually looks fantastic and plays fantastic, and it really, like, you know, inspired me to go out and actually build and purchase my own just decks, right? So I actually did two. I actually built or fully bought two decks from the ground up, and Nikkei is one of them. Now, I don't have the Nikkei cards to show right now because I just placed the order, but this is going to be one of the things that we're talking about today, because in order to do this, it wasn't that expensive at all. I just went to TCG Player. I literally bought every single double R, which is kind of like the highest base rarity, I guess you could say. It's like the highest rarity in terms of power level, I guess you could say. I bought every single double R for the Nikkei set, as well as almost every single rare and every other card I could think of that would be good for building a deck. And I bought a second copy of the trial deck because the trial deck only has, you know, 2 copies of cards like this, for example, which you definitely want 4 of. And all of it, bought all this stuff was 150 bucks, which is the price of like a couple booster boxes, which is just absurd. So I can basically build any Nikkei deck that I want for 150 bucks. And for trading card games, that is a crazy value. And this is where the idea and the crux of it being the perfect second TCG, or the perfect side TCG, or budget TCG, whatever way you want to bill it. And that's because for $150, I have a Nikkei deck that I can probably swap up and change up to my heart's content. But it never changes because, you know, unless they release a second set for it. But the way Weiss Schwarz works is you basically buy into whatever IP you like. So this is Nikkei. We'll talk about a couple other ones that I enjoy later. And then that's it. You don't have to buy the next set, because the next set's going to be something like, you know, Spy Family or Free Ren or Overlord or Quintuplets or whatever. You don't have to buy those sets. You only buy the Nikkei set, and that's it. You're good. You don't have to get anything else unless, you know, they release another Nikkei set down the road, which is fairly rare that they double up, but hey, they might actually double up at some point. And because of that, you just have a deck that you can play against any other Weiss Schwarz player, doesn't rotate, and you're good. You're good to go. You don't have to engage with all of the other releases, and I think that is amazing and perfect as like I said, a budget TCG or a side TCG or your second TCG. You get your thing, you're good to go. You don't really have to worry about it again. You can not really set it and forget it, but kind of that mentality. And I think it's just, you know, absolutely perfect. And so let me give you another example. So I like Azure Lane, if she can get in focus. There you go. Belfast is in focus. I like Azure Lane, and there is an Azure Lane Weiss Schwarz set. And so I was like, you know what? Is it good? And I looked up some of the top decks, found a couple Azure Lane decks in Weiss Schwarz that got in like the top 8 or top 16 in various tournaments. And you know what? I was like, I'll just buy these decks. And I did. And how much was it to buy basically 2 decks that are like top 8 worthy in the last year or so? Well, about 130 bucks. And as you can see here, I even splurged for some nice ones as well. I don't have all of the cards. This is just like a chunk of the order. It was a pretty big order. It was like 100 and I don't remember how many cards, 130 or 40 cards total. But like I said, I kind of splurged for some cards that had a little bit extra treatment. I didn't just get the base level cards, though I did. I got a lot of the base level cards, and most of the cards were very cheap and affordable, like, I don't know, 20 cents to 75 cents. And it's enough to build 2 decks, which is just, once again, absolutely crazy. The price is right. But it's not just that. It's also that you can indulge in the IPs that you enjoy. So, you know, for Weiss Schwarz, like I mentioned, there's a lot of different IPs. Like I said, they have Spy Family, Free Ren, just an absurd amount. And for me personally, I kind of like the gacha game ones. So, you know, obviously we have like the Azure Lane and stuff like Blue Archive with my girl Aru here. I might try to build a Blue Archive one at some point as well. Just really, really pretty. And so, like, the budget friendliness is just incredibly good. The fact that you don't have to keep up with stuff all that much is also incredibly good. But there's also the other side to it where, yeah, it's a great budget friendly game, but you can also just like splurge if you have something that you really want, or if you really want to collect the Super Chase cards. Because the Super Chase cards in this game look absolutely gorgeous. This is one of the holiday promos that I got sent to me, or that doesn't sound right, that got sent to me by Bushiroad for working with them for Shadowverse Evolve, you know, Weiss Schwarz and Cardfight Vanguard, doing various, you know, videos and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, they sent me like a little Christmas little care package. I think I made a video or posted about it or whatever. But I mean, obviously I kept all the cards from it. This is the Weiss Schwarz card. This is from Love Live. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. Their chase cards just look so good, and the card quality is just incredibly good. Now, I've been pretty critical about the base level cards of a lot of other, you know, Weiss Schwarz sets. Some of them look really good. Some of them maybe not as good. But I think the ones that, you know, I gravitated towards the ones that I thought ended up looking pretty good, like the Nikkei ones, for example. I think the base level Nikkei cards look actually quite good, and then the chase cards obviously look just amazing. So if you want to whale or whatever, you can totally do that. Especially since, hey, you might not get a second, you know, version of your set, or I don't say version, but you might not get a follow-up to your set, especially if you pick something that's not particularly popular. But if you did pick something that's popular, hey, you might get a second version or a second set, right? It's not unheard of that, hey, there might be a second Azure Lane set, or, you know, Nikkei is doing very well, there could be maybe another Nikkei set in the future. And I think that's just generally very cool. And one of the big selling points of the game, you pick your IP that you like, but it's also very affordable, and you don't really have to keep up with it. So yeah, Weiss Schwarz, it's great. And then let's not even talk about like the gameplay of it. I think the gameplay is very unique and a little bit crunchy to get into, but once you do, I think it's like not too bad at all, and very, very fun. A lot different than other, you know, very different than other TCGs out there. And I mean, that's not even to say or speculate on other things that, you know, I personally love. You know, I bought Azure Lane decks. I bought essentially a Nikkei set, or the Nikkei decks, almost an entire set of the Nikkei cards. But man, if they ever did like Arc Knights, of which I like quite a bit. I think I have 5 or 6 Azure Lane figures, but I've got like double that for Arc Knights. Or if they did like Girls Frontline, ooh, dude, I would be there day one. I guess I was there day one for Nikkei, but Arc Knights would go crazy, dude. So yeah, that's the video for today. A little bit rambly, but it's a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a while. I genuinely do think Weiss Schwarz is like the perfect second TCG, or the side TCG, or budget TCG, however you kind of want to say it. It just really is. The price is right. The fact that you don't have to keep up with it. There's like super minimal upkeep. And the fact that, you know, they're all of the, well, I don't want to say all of the archetypes, but, you know, it feels like most of the sets that come out in the last year or so seem to be pretty good, and seem to be pretty well received, like gameplay wise. So if you want to play like Free Run or whatever, there's probably a couple decks that you can play. Nikkei, I know, is pretty good. Like I said, I found some Azure Lane decks that did well at various Bushiroad Championship Series events, and yeah. it's pretty good. I'm slowly becoming a fan of Weiss Schwarz. Started off being pretty critical of mostly of the art, and after learning it and kind of getting into it more, yeah, I'm coming around to it. I'm coming around to it, especially since when you find a set that you can really vibe with, it just I don't know, just hits on a lot of different levels, right? And just I'm trying to be a little bit more budget minded about some stuff going into the future, so yeah, it's great. So thank you for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know if you play Weiss Schwarz. If you do, hey, what is your favorite archetype, nation, clan? I'm not sure. I'm still new to the game, so I don't know the exact nomenclature. What's your favorite IP that they've done so far? Obviously, for me, it is Nikkei and Azure Lane, maybe some Blue Archive. Yeah, it's all the gacha games. And then I kind of want to check out the free run and stuff, but I feel like the gacha games has like the art for it tends to be very, very nice. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. I think I'm just going in circles now. We're gonna cut the video, just cut it. We'll see you next time.